Steven, thank you for coming for coffee, man.
My pleasure. Thank you for the coffee.
Listen, we're on a camera, so we're gonna chit-chat a little bit about life. Let's go do something differently.
Let's do it.
What, you tell me, okay, you are the guy who knows the money, right? Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, I just want to introduce you a little bit Steven Shaw. Steven Shaw is one of the closest friends of mine. And the one thing I do remember, I'm going to mention his name, Greg Larkin, right? Greg Larkin was your superior boss. Steven Shaw was one of my clients, and his boss told me that Steven Shaw never going to talk to me. And I said, like, why not? He said, like, he's different. He doesn't talk to the providers. And honestly, everybody you used to be work with was coming for lunch and for wining and dining except you. And then, just by coincidence, we start being more and more, close to friends and, talking about life and everything else. And life put us on different directions, Mm-hmm. You left insurance company. So tell me, first of all, why did you left insurance? Isn't that a nice and cushy job, You come in the morning in the office and like, what did you like about insurance? What did you like about insurance? Let the people see that, environment, that's the cubicles, we're fighting for that jobs, with our resume, we're running into this. I wanted that job. So tell me.
So look, for me, insurance is quite simple. You get the best out of yourself by surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
So insurance, there's always a job. And why is there always a job? Because it's a tough job. You're dealing with people that are always on claim, so it's a negative state. So first of all...
So they will tell you when they call you, right? They say, you where's my money?
Yeah. I used to get the toughest... I used to get the toughest claims because I always sort of just was calm. I had people literally telling me F words.
Yeah,
I had
all
some of the
time,
worst,
yeah.
and there's a couple that were well known around there. So I had this reputation that because if they couldn't get through to me, that they would call someone else.
Yeah.
And so they go, oh, Steve must be really upsetting these people. But my boss used to go, the rest of my staff can't handle these people.
Yeah.
But I always just maintain the calmness of it. But one thing you would learn is they're very, very, very smart on how they get things. But there was no reward in actually just paying someone. So that's your job. Your job is to make sure they get their benefits, make sure they get paid back. They're usually struggling. So you do that, and that's the reward. If you don't do it, it's just a negative thing.
Okay.
So what was good about that was the camaraderie. So the staff would go through dealing with that every week, and then they go out and then have some drinks together. And you'd resonate on those conversations. It was really good. Every single week, consistently, and you build some great relationships. Company that we work for, which everyone would go to the same place, sort of 4 or 5 p.m.
See, that's what I can ask. Like, I don't have that much experience in corporate world in Australia because my only corporate job was I was in CBA for one period of time, and then I went in a company called Game. I was the National Loss Prevention Manager, and then with GFC. Then it was like, sorry, your dreams need to be cut, shorter than necessary.
Yes.
But I never liked that idea. I'm working with you 8 hours per day. I'm eating salad, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then I need to go drink with you. Like, did you find this?
Well,
why do people love that stuff? Like you're with somebody you don't like it, but then again you go for drinking with that person.
So, fast forward, I was at Macquarie Bank. Macquarie Bank is
I remember,
is a very different culture. You cannot explain it to someone else. So everyone says, you have those conversations with your close people, your wife, your really good friends. It's very hard to explain exactly what Macquarie Bank's like unless you've ever worked there. Some of those people, if they weren't working in finance, they'd probably be on the news for the wrong reasons. And these are literally some of your managers. So, but you can have that conversation with someone that understands it because they're going through the same experience. Because no one else believes what you're going through. So I think that's sort of part of the reason why people have those drinks. But to your point, when you leave that company, those people disappear, and you sort of start to go, a lot of when you start a new company, they say, oh, you got to have a best friend at work. It's like, why would I have my best friend at work that I've been there for a couple of months my best friends I've known for years through the high times, through the low times, and especially during the low times, that's when you got your good friends. So I think I've definitely changed that. I only drink with my good friends now.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting when they say, when you leave the workplace, all this, it just disappear like this, right?
That's right.
And that's a true, is actually, that depicting our reality, our situation in life. I was very unpleasantly surprised when I left the army, right? I was thinking, my best buddies, 14 years together, the war, all this crap. The moment I shook the hand to general, I got my last reward and everything else. Mm-hmm. And then 10 minutes later, I was walking down the corridor, and then it opened my, my wardrobe and everything else, give all the weapons, everything else, man. Like, I never existed, man.
You're a number. You're a
yeah,
number.
exactly.
And it's the same way any industry.
Kind of pisses me off, man.
Especially, it's disappointing, especially the more what I saw positive industries, like military. You're putting your life on the line. Literally.
Oh, man,
And then next you realize that from the day that's it, you're just a number, and they just bring you in, they bring another person in the same suit, and that's it.
Same as for corporation, man. There's no difference. It's just a number. That's why people forgetting everybody thinks it's irreplaceable. It's, I remember the guys, as like on a training, in the military, we had that good thing. It's a notebooks where you're calculating if you're going to actions, how many people are going to die, how many people are going to survive, the wounded, all these things, right? But on exercises was as well same thing. Exercises, okay. And I remember guys who they injure themselves, break their knees or something like this, they will come after some type of, sick leave, like 2-3 months. They'll go on a test, and they'll say, like, you can't be back in unit because your injury. But I can't tell this guy that you already be replaced by 2 new recruits, Yeah, the people
right.
who, and they're like, I can see that upsetness. And I was like, man, never going to happen to me. But day I left the army, it was bad. Same in the corporations. You work in corporations, and then there's a door. Goodbye.
Yeah, my wife always says this. She says, who's going to be there if something really, who's going to be there on your deathbed? Who's going to actually be there in a difficult situation? She goes, my family are going to be there.
Yeah.
Not my family.
Yeah.
my family. No.
Not your family.
My family.
You change the color of the skin, man.
No, I remember.
I love you, man.
And that's why I was laughing when I was thinking this story. But it's like one of my closest friends said a quote to me. Says, "Your family is the one you create," and it's it's my wife, it's my son, and it's your close friends and your close people that you can rely on. It's the amount of frustration. Like, my wife's got a few friends that they'll just disappear, and then they'll organise something and then they'll cancel, and I go, and this goes on. And I said, eventually you just got to just get some better friends.
Yes.
So some real friends. It's not a better friend. It's just they are friends. We've had a kid. Some of these people have not met the kid. Some of these people have not reached out. There's all this kind of stuff that goes on, and you sort of go. And I saw a Mike Tyson quote. You do your boxing. I do my boxing. He goes, "If your friends are everyone, you're an enemy to yourself."
You know what? I saw that somewhere the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, it made me think, actually. Can you repeat again what Tyson says? If you have everybody friend,
if you're friends with everybody, you're an enemy to yourself.
That is true.
When I did my business, I used to, I don't know if you remember, I used to do posts of Mike Tyson quotes, because every single one of his quotes are really make you think, and you go, this is a guy that bites someone's ear. But his
Can you mention it? Yeah.
His quotes are amazing. Like, they're so inspirational. Ones talk about fear and all this kind of thing. And obviously you had Cuz Tomato sort of as the trainer, but they're really inspirational. But that one particularly, you sort of go, I don't want to be friends with everyone. And, you heard sort of these stories about sort of myself, but all you do is you just hold up your flag and salute and that's who I am. And if you're consistent with that, you attract those people, why do you want to be friends with someone that hates you? Like, and actually, the more success you have, the more people hate you. Like,
I think that's actually one of the blueprints for success. I was thinking last week in Queensland before the boxing, right? I can't explain to Stephen, like, like the emotional roller coaster I experienced in my life. I never been. I couldn't recognize myself, like, fighting my fear, fighting my anxiety, anticipation, fighting myself, fighting environment, fighting, and then there's a guy opposite me in the ring who want to take my head on a silver platter, like, like, and then I think myself, why was always me that one who wanted to be the part of the group of the people who are like A-grade students? I'm not sure how it was your school, but I remember when I was going to school, I was always chubby and I was always shitty, in school and everything else. Like, and look, but I always want to have the best girlfriends. I wanted the top shelf. I want a grade student, and nobody wanted to be around me. Like, what was left for me? Guess what? The rejects might. They love me, I mean? And, that's the reason why I stopped the guy at age 13 with a screwdriver twice on a concert. I'm not proud, man, but he told me, one of the guys says, like, he's chasing my girlfriend, go stab him, you know what I mean? And a guy was in the hospital, I was in juvenile, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not proud, mate. I told my son, and he says to me, what do you mean you stabbed somebody? It's like, it's happened. But I embrace people who would love me for who I am, and that was usually rejects. It was not good choice. Yep. So either I was chasing people who I cannot be with because I don't belong in that group of people because you're either too fat, you're not good in school, you're stupid, you don't have the latest clothes. But you said this very well now, the Tyson. Why Tyson? Tell me, why Tyson? Why Tyson? Why you love Tyson quotes? You said something that is related to his biting the ears, like
man. Obviously Hills area. I used to live in the hills, at Glenhaven. We used to go to.
I know you're coming from this area.
Yeah, so Castle Tavern used to have these fights, Tyson fights.
Yeah.
And you could go out on a Friday night, a Saturday night, but the Sunday there was a Tyson fight. Didn't matter if it was 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
The entire tavern would be packed, and everyone was just waiting for him to knock someone out, and it was amazing. Like, people pay so much money for these tickets, and like he knocked someone out in 30 seconds. But the entire crowd, didn't matter what they'd done the night before, were there, and it was just such an amazing thing. So I think Tyson has been an idol for everyone in my generation, but now actually you see his growth and what he's gone through, and obviously Don King and taking money and all this stuff and what he's become
but
now.
Do you think that we're spending too much time actually judging people according to appearances, how they look like actually outside, rather than having interest in their life?
Yeah, well, look, no,
like a Tyson, don't you think? Like Tyson is like, Tyson's always, as you say, representing the wealth, the strength, the fame.
What's the quote? It's like people go, "How's your job? How's your house? How's your car? How's this?" But no one asks how you're happy. Like it's Heath Ledger's got a quote, something like that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, but that's society. I mean, society is, you got to be like this. And the challenge with this is it's a highlight reel. So Facebook is a highlight reel. No one tells you everything bad that's going on in your life on social media. And I play golf, and like with golf, what do? They show someone hitting 300 meters dead straight. And that is, 300 meters dead straight, and you think that's what you need to do. But if you ever play golf, it's out in the trees, it's out in the other fairway, and you're naturally going to be disappointed. So what you sort of realize is you go, hang on, I've watched this guy who is a pro hit it across on another fairway. When I actually watch every one of his rounds and follow his entire round, he's not hitting perfect every single time. But that expectation is what I think destroys people. And that's why people are always going to be unhappy, because they've got an expectation that they're going to have to be perfect. And the perfect never gets there. People go, even to be happy, people want to be, I want to be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
You're never going to be happy every single day. Like everyone is going through flows.
Yes.
What you want to be is, I just want to be a happier person overall. And part of being happier overall is having an expectation that there is going to be ups and downs. So if you've got an expectation it's only going to be perfect, you're setting yourself up for failure.
See, that's very interesting. You know, about Tyson. I was reading, or I was watching something about him, and he says the most happiest moment of in his life was when he was in prison.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, like, you know, what do you mean by prison? Like, you know, the money, the wealth, the chicks, the cars, and everything else. Don King was then playing the role as well of his one. He says that was the only moment when he could talk to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Not being surrounded with the buzz, you know, Don King who defrauded him literally. He said the drugs, the people around, he said, like, I was amongst the ordinary people, even the criminals.
Yeah.
He said, but I could hear myself.
Yeah.
And then he changing into the Muslim religions and everything else, right? Which was very, very interesting, my dear. In prison. That was the happiest moment to be in prison because it was not in the jungle of the neon lights, the noise of the social media, everything else.
So I went to Russia, right? And the thing I like about traveling is you get
now, what the people that don't know, like, you know, Steven Shaw was working for KGB.
That's right.
For the last time, no.
Okay.
But the thing I realize when people haven't traveled is they'll have an opinion of somewhere. So like people go,
okay, tell me.
So people go, the States is like this.
Yeah.
And some of these people have never been to the States. People have this opinion of Russia. They go, it's going to be all concrete. It's going to be cold. The people are mean and all this. You go there and St. Petersburg it's beautiful water.
Yeah.
It's got these buildings that are all French and Italian design. So there's the Hermitage, and it's the 1,300 room thing. And it's just, you're in awe of this. Like, I mean, whether you like architecture or not, you can't not look at this. And then you go downstairs and there's a thing called Rock Bar.
Okay.
And it's like, and it's down, it's all like things like Metallica, it's Rolling Stones, all this. Everyone's singing, and it's exactly the same. And I remember there was a moment I'm walking around in a park in Russia, and I go, "This is really good. I've just got time to think." You know, coming back to sort of, you know, he's in jail, and I just go. And my best thinking is when I'm actually taking myself away from this noise and just sitting there in the park. And I sort of took that moment and sort of go back, and I go, I should do this more often in Australia. And I go, we've got parks in Australia. We've got beautiful parks in Australia.
Yes.
We've got Botanical Gardens, we've got Hyde Park, we've got all these amazing parks. And I sort of realized...
So what makes you think that you need to do more parks? Why the Russian parks, it was better, but you know that in Australia you have...
You need to get yourself away from the blind spots, the noise, the blind spots, but it's also the blind spots. So...
What do you mean blind spots? Like, you don't see what's happening around you, or the people misguide you, or the news, or whatever.
So if you work in a particular industry, right?
Okay.
Everyone's going to give you the same opinion of sort of, you know, what you should do for an event, or everyone's going to say what the clients want. So everyone will sort of sit around a room and go, what does the client want? No one sort of goes, maybe you should ask the client like what they want. But people say, oh, let's do an economic update because that's what everyone else does. But that was something in that was something in the 80s because we didn't have a phone. I don't need someone to do an economic update in Australia when I can be the night before on the
stock exchange somewhere else.
The stock exchange, and I know I can hear it as it's going live from my phone. So by the time it comes to 9 o'clock in Australia time, who cares? And besides that, all you're doing is just presenting a commoditized solution because, as you said, people just come in and replace it.
Commoditized solution, man. How good is? Oh my god! Oh, please, I'll learn new words with you.
So you're just saying that basically all I'm offering is basically exactly the same as the other place around. So all that kind of stuff, what I do is then I started sort of immersing myself in going to networking events, immersing myself in people, different industries, creative industries. I read, I think we might have spoken about this before, Rick Rubin's book is a music, but he said people go to an art gallery not because they want to show they're rich, but because they get inspired to then go do something else. So getting yourself surrounding by different ideas where I'm not sort of getting the noise, that's when I come up with my best ideas. And it's got nothing to do with, I'm not copying their idea because it's not going to work in my industry, but I'm taking that and going, I like that. Why do I like that? And how do I then apply that? And it's because I'm walking down the park or I'm driving, just sort of, and that's when I'll get that idea. But I've got it from that moment, not from being in this this blind spot room of only hearing the same information. And that's where I sort of really changed my sort of thought on a lot of things.
But you're a change man. Let's go talk now about old dads. You're a change man.
Okay, yeah.
You're a change man. So congratulations. Today, it's 5 months of the most beautiful bundle of happiness. His name is Hugo, your son.
Yeah.
Okay, now, I forgot. My son is 21 years old, and he talks to me differently now than like when he was little. But I love my boy, but I miss those moments. Yesterday when we were on that function, there was a lady behind you with a baby.
Yes, yeah.
Baby had the headsets, and you show me who Hugo has as well. And that image with this mother with the baby, right? It was just like, it was melting my heart. I said, oh my God, I'm missing these moments in my boy. Now, 5 months ago, you become the father of the beautiful boy. For all parents there, can you just rewind a little bit and tell us the feeling becoming the father? What was the feeling for you? You know what I mean? Like, okay, the wife, she was pregnant, all these things going through this. I was going through this as well.
Yep.
But the moment where Hugo was in your hands very first time.
So
you didn't try to...
A little bit of backstory about that, because I think it's important, and you sort of be able to capture the moment. We were meant to go in to do it naturally, and it was going to be like a Sunday. And then so then they'll bring it forward because they said, look, he's a little bit big. We just want to make sure, let's come in and do it on Tuesday. My wife sort of went out and did something, and anyway, we ended up having to come in and do a cesarean. And so I was expecting I'm going to be holding my wife's hand, sort of well done sort of thing while you're doing the work. And and then she's going to because obviously you've got to do the chest thing and skin to skin, and then that's sort of going to be it, and she's going to do that. So that was my expectation. That completely went upside down because next she's asleep.
That image is eradicated. It's erased.
Yeah.
What's happened?
So then they come out and say, look, baby's fine, wife's fine, but you got to skin to skin, and he comes out and he's so small. Yeah, man. They're so small, and they're so fragile, and you got in there and you just go, he's completely dependent on me, and it's a feeling that there's that
it's an animal feeling,
the responsibility feeling, and you just go, wow, every single thing I do is going to affect his life going forward. And they say between 0 and 7 years is actually where they absorb the most, and that affects people for the rest of their life. So a lot of people sort of, the way they are is because of that.
They're ignoring that fact, They're ignoring the fact, yes, you're right.
So, but on the other side, it's a feeling that is just the most amazing feeling you'll ever experience, and you think you have sort of good feelings when you're single and you're doing this and I had this event or I did this, and it's irrelevant. Like that from that moment, your life changes like that, and it becomes about them. It's you sort of start going, okay, I'm going to plan everything. That's sort of the way you do things. You don't plan anything from that moment. Everything's around sort of their sleeping patterns. You don't necessarily sleep. Sort of everything becomes around them, and everything becomes because of them. So the reason why you go to work, your purpose, everything is about.
If you can give one advice now, today interviews, we have a chat, of course.
Yeah.
But if you can give anybody advice, because you're new dad, very new dad, 5 months old dad. If you can give advice to any father, future father, to be or it's going to be next couple of days, whatever, what will that be?
Enjoy every moment because it goes quick. You know, it's 5 months and he's a
Are you surprised? Are you shocked?
Look, I've really sort of taken that from day one. Enjoy every moment, and even then it goes quick. So, but yeah, it's. I think don't worry about sort of. Yeah, there is going to like have a good expectation about it. You know, as amazing as this is, it's still. You know, you're going to go through lack of sleep. You're going to have to sort of work out, and you really communicate with your partner. That is really important. I think we've become a lot closer and a lot better at communicating because of Hugo, our son, and you know those things. It's important to sort of know how each other's going. You're a father, but also don't just make it about being a father. Make it also about being having a great relationship, because then you can be a great father if you have a great relationship. That's probably the sort of the few things I'd sort of say from it. That's just as important. I think a lot of people love to sort of, you know, say.
Is there any perfect moment you think somebody should be the father, the parent? Do you think we should wait? You know, a lot of financial planners say to us, you know, even the government, like, you know, wait, you know, live your life, you know, be late 30s, you know, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like make the profit, you know, make the properties, make the money, make this, and then you become the parent. What do you think?
I think it's an individual decision.
Okay.
I think there is lots of reasons why I would think do it 10 years earlier than I did it. But then there's other sides of reasons I go, if you didn't live life, you're not, it's going to be harder.
Yes.
It's going to be a huge adjustment. But on the same token, there's, I think it gives you a different purpose and a different outlook on life. So definitely it changes the way you live your entire life going forward. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, the other thing about it is everyone's assuming they can have kids and it's going to be easy. Like this is
Man,
a big,
that's everybody's perception. They say, how much kid cost you and your family? I mean, let's go talk about finances. Like people think that they say kids cost nothing, right? But having kid, it is financial obligation.
my understanding is about $250 to have a kid.
Yeah.
250,000
Per year.
Well, like it works out about 250,000, but that was sort of a stat maybe 10 years ago. So I'm sure it's going. I mean,
You mean it's going higher, right?
think about so private schools, for example. They say that factor in the cost of inflation of 3% or whatever sort of thing. Private schools go up like 14% per annum. Like so,
they do.
yeah, all those things are going to make a huge difference.
If I remember correctly, like, you know, like I just gonna lie to you now because Matteo finished high school in 2020. We had this bullshit, you know, that you can't go because of the C-19 thing, right?
Yes.
So you can watch the Zoom. Like, doesn't make sense, right? But I remember last year for him in high school was $7,000.
Yeah.
This is just pure fees. That's just a fees for the school, private school. Whereas everything else, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you think you need to buy the uniform, you need to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your kid after all. You know what I mean? He doesn't work, but still $7,000 is a lot of money, man. You know what I mean? For 6 months, 7 months of education, right? I mean,
So my, as you know, my wife's from Brazil. Her brother's come out. So one of the big things for me was like, it's amazing for her to be able to go to school in Australia in a different language.
Yeah.
You know, coming from speaking Portuguese, she's never done that, and you can see the excitement going through her mind of sort of going to school. But I'm pretty sure we're paying about $5,300 a quarter. So
cheers, man! Come on,
because they're international. It's it was more expensive to go to public school than it was to go to Catholic. So she's going to Catholic school. It's cheaper. So mate,
unbelievable. Eh?
I mean, same with uni. Like anyone is international. It's just, like as expensive as uni is, as you know.
So compared to me now, like let's go talk about this one. You've been in Brazil. I have the question for everybody to make it once for all clear. ACACI, Akai, is a Atsai, Atsatsiya. What's the true origin pronunciation spelling, whatever you want to say, acai.
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 S-I-E. Yeah. So the I is sort of E.
Yeah,
pronounce
okay.
E. So
Acai.
this is why I'm struggling to learn Portuguese. It's so different.
Ah, okay. So it's acai.
Acai, yeah.
Okay, I'll call it acai.
So
Acai.
my wife's originally from Para, which is right up north, and it's really humid. So it's literally 40 degrees in the day, and then it rains every single night.
Jesus, man, really?
Every single night. So it's and heavy rain. Like it's
Every night.
every night. Yeah. So you're just expecting it. It's right next to the Amazon, but because of that climate, it creates all these fruits, and even the fish and everything is just different to you ever get from anywhere. So beyond just the acai, all the fruits and everything you just can't get them anywhere else. And that was the nicest food I've ever had. Like it was.
So do they make this acai like we're making here? Like, you know, it's like ice cream and walnuts, all these things, or they're preparing these different ways?
Yeah. So acai is from a tree, and they're everywhere.
It's a tree, not a plant. It's a tree.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
interesting.
tree.
Yeah.
So they are literally they provide the entire world. Like from what I understand, they're only in Para, and they're everywhere. Like but it's when you first get it compared to say like Cali Press might put in ice, they'll put in banana, and they'll do that to sort of reduce it. But it's quite potent. Like when you have it, you have the real acai, it's quite potent. They'll put in sugar and sort of things to sort of dilute it, kind of thing. But they'll have it with like things like fish and things like that. Whereas here we just have it with berries and things like that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's very pricey, actually. You know what I mean? It's very pricey, mate. I must say, I was now in Gold Coast, and that like medium sized, like a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, it's acai and you know, the walnuts and whatever they put inside. You know, even the chia seeds, whatever. Man, it looks nice on a picture, but when you get it, it's like, like $22. It's like, fuck, man, $22 for acai. And she says to me, that's expensive. It's like, no, darling, it's quite affordable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very expensive here to eat acai.
Yeah, well, I think we get charged a lot in Australia for generally, but like anything international, it's like it's exotic. So it's like so yeah, people pay.
So tell us more about life in Amazonia in Brazil. You went there, and how's the life look like in Brazil for you? So you're coming from let's just say a high tech country, and we don't hear many things about Brazil, right? Except the unsuccessful coup d'état, new president, old president, and both this Rio de Janeiro carnival.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's something we kind of missed. A lot of problem criminals, you know what I mean? There's a lot of these favela things.
Yeah,
these homes. I can see Rio de Janeiro is being built. And then I saw like documentaries, like all these homes actually hanging on top of each other, right, on a mountain. If something heavy rain comes, it's going to sweep everything down, right?
Yeah.
But people are still building. So all these favelas are crime and everything else. But for you, coming from high-tech country, where you can wash your wardrobe, you can wash in a washing machine. You come in Brazil and you say, people are still doing on their hands. Tell us more about Brazil.
Yeah, well, so it's completely different for lots of reasons. The values, the focus, the priority.
Okay.
But yeah, in relation to a washing machine, I remember being there and I was like, to my wife, where's the washing machine? And she said, and they're like all laughing at me. It's going, what washing machine? It's like you hand wash. And I'm like, yeah, I'm 42 years old. I've never hand washed in my entire life. I don't even know how to hand wash. Like so I learned how.
It's easy. I'll show you. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I came back, I'm like, now I'm grateful for a washing machine and I was never going to be grateful about having something simple like a washing machine because I've always had it.
So that's a washing machine. What else did you saw they don't have, we have here in the environment you were there? Because Brazil, it is a big country, but it's a poor country. I mean, it's a lot of poverty there, right?
So especially somewhere up north, it is quite poor, and a lot of people grow everything on the land. It's everything's on a farm. They're all growing, and but I remember they started cooking, and they just got 4 bricks for this barbecue, and just a hot plate on the top. And I'm looking.
So there's not like barbecue like on the gas and.
I got a family Weber, like, And like
Did you say, where's the barbecue?
which they're big on the charcoal, so then like I've the gas, but I've got the full Weber and everything, and I'm watching them setting up these 4 bricks and with a bit of charcoal and just putting a hot plate, and the meat's amazing. Like it's like I'm going, this is better than anything.
What do you think? Why is that?
Because everything's about family, everything's about food. When you don't have these materialistic things, that's what it becomes about. And it's a pleasure for them to cook. It's not like it's too hard, I'm going to go get takeaway. It's everything's about sort of the food and sort of bringing people around together. Literally, you can go to the grandmother's place every single night, and because where it is, everyone sort of lives around each other. Like in Australia, people are lucky to live in the same state, whereas everyone lives in the same place. They just go around, and every night they can go have dinner at the grandma's, and it's always an option. And it's so.
See, that's something. When I took Mateo last year in Croatia, and he was shocked. He was shocked. He says, "How many people you know? How they remember you?"
Yeah.
And everybody, I said, that's my, I was very proud, like as a father.
Yeah.
It's that feeling. I mean, you can't explain. One day when you go with Hugo in Brazil, when he grows up, you're gonna say, But I remember because my family passed away, but I had a few friends and few distant cousins. Wherever he was going, he was able to come to him. It's like, you need to eat. He says, why everybody wants to eat, Mateo? We kill people with love.
Yeah.
Because that's a family thing.
That's right, yeah.
They take you restaurants and all these things. They're going to tell you, restaurant is like for the, posh people and the wannabe people. And I mean, you want to eat at home. And it's family thing. And he was surprised. I said, Mateo, that's how I grow up. I didn't need to go to my mom to make me dinner. I would go to my grandmother.
Yeah.
He said, just like that. I said, I'll just walk there. I said, no, I'm hungry. And she said, okay, here we go. Whatever they have for dinner, you eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you go out, play again. And he says to me, oh, my God. He said, but that's what you're saying. I mean, that's a Brazil still. That's a family thing.
But yeah, a lot of people say Brazilians are really happy. And I think
What did you like at most of Brazil? Or what didn't you like most of Brazil? Public transport? You didn't like it? No, I'm just joking now. Well, I don't know, do they have any? I mean,
so obviously Aden Senna's, Brazilian Formula One driver, right? Yeah. Everyone thinks they're Aden Senna there. The way they drive is crazy. Literally, as fast as the cars go, there's no speed limit. There probably is, and people on their phones. We sort of complain about fines here. They're literally on their phones. They're overtaking people. The motorbikes are even quicker. I saw every single day 2 motorbike accidents. This is how frequent it is.
In Bali, man.
Yeah, but they're not on a little scooter. They're on full motorbikes, and to be people there, and the person's lying down. So the roads, I would never drive myself. I saw some pretty amazing scenes, like people literally getting food out of garbage, and my wife puts an effort to make sure I didn't just experience the carnival, as far as feathers and sort of women dancing and all that kind of thing. And a lot of people come to...
She's bad, I mean.
But a lot of people go to a Brazilian restaurant here, and they think that's what Brazil's like. Yeah, carnival is something in February, but it's nothing really what the Brazil experience is like.
That's how they're being portrayed. And you travel quite a lot around the world. Is your life being changed by traveling around the world and meeting new cultures in a positive way?
So I can only speak one language, which is a real frustration for me. And it's something that I'm making sure.
Yeah, when you speak main language, everybody speaks English.
But you come back to sort of what do I like about sort of the Brazil experience. Okay, how am I going to communicate with her father? Because he only speaks Portuguese.
Yes.
We started playing pool together. And there's a great moment where Susie's captured on film where we're playing pool, and I think I sung a couple in a row, and they're both sort of looking. Yeah. And you go, there's a language there. It's not about different sort of languages. You can resonate on sport. We watch the football together. Then another day he comes out and he goes, come play dominoes. And we're playing dominoes together, and there's a picture where I'm playing dominoes together. And then there was another moment where I think you might have even seen the picture. I went over to Susie's mum's side, and every single Saturday they play music. The band comes over, they have barbecues, food. They start from like 2 p.m. through to 2 night. And this is only can happen in Brazil, because you imagine like people playing a full live band in a residential house, like for 10 hours, 12 hours straight.
Imagine do this in Australia. You know, the cops on the door, man.
Yeah. And obviously that starts off when they've just had one drink, but then it goes to 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, they only speak Portuguese, but Susie goes, "Oh, Stephen plays guitar." And I've been enjoying a trip. I hadn't played guitar. And they go, "Oh, just come up and play." And I'm like, "Oh, no, here we go." I can't even think, how do I play guitar again? Because if you don't do it every day, you sort of, you lose it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then they go, "Oh, yeah, you can play." And then next the whole band's playing. Yeah, like we've...
Jeez,
like,
mate.
So I'm like...
You're like a rock star from Australia, man.
And I'm like, how do I get a song that they're going to know? Because I don't know anything from Brazil. And I just go, I'm just going to play something. So I played Hotel California. And there's a moment where everyone gets up and starts singing in English.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Hotel California. Like everywhere in the world. Like there's certain songs that certain artists that people know. And basically start singing. They go, and I'm just playing guitar. And then they go, "We like that." And there's like, boom, the microphone's up and they go, "Sing a song." And I'm like, what am I going to do here? Like, people when they get up and do karaoke, they think they know it, and that's why it's so embarrassing, because they go, even if they're watching the lyrics, they go, I need to be able to know it, what's coming, because I've got to be able to do it in time. And then on top of that, you're playing an instrument and you're playing an entire band, and you're trying to do
That's very complicated. Now,
No.
So I did Knocking on Heaven's Door, and then I did Never Tear Us Apart by In Excess.
Okay.
And they go, "Oh, that's In Excess song after," like, but I'm singing it, and I just remember that moment, and Susie's just captured it, like, and like, so that's why I don't see photographs of like, a Facebook thing. It's capturing a moment, and that moment.
But that's the essence of life. It is. See, like, I think, as you said, no, I'm just laughing now because, as you speak about Brazil, I'm not born in Brazil, of course. I'm born in Croatia, but you bring me these memories of my childhood. You know what I mean? Like when we have the very rare opportunity, someone that come from overseas will all like gather, around that person, like, and you just want to know everything was happening in another part of the world, and you'll be like always, oh my God. But in reality, I think that essence of life is family. Yeah, I think that's number one. The people you surround yourself with. That's I said to you last week in Queensland, that everything was leading to that fight. And I said to my coach, I said to Rodney, I'm afraid, man. You know what I mean? I was blurbing a lot before the fight. A few days before the fight, I stopped. Because I said to myself, what if I lose, right? And he says to me, "Don't worry. You can't do something brave if you're not afraid.
Yeah.
So go inside. I'll support you regardless whatever's happening." And that was like, for me, like straight away, like inside, right? So I'm 51 years old man. I think myself, what makes me happy? And that is that I always can talk to people like you, honestly. Yeah. We know each other through many years now. I mean? And we are friends now. We have no business connections and all these things. We go together networking. Yesterday, I was very proud to see you amongst the people. Even I don't know many of them. But I'm glad to see that my friend is happy. You know what I mean? Because that's essence of life. It is. But let me ask you something. You work with the money. You know what I mean? All this inflation, everything else, man. What do you think what's going to happen to all of us? You think it's going to be better or it's going to be worse? I mean, everything is just becoming from bad to worse. And I remember GFC. I think GFC was a great training session for what's coming. Seriously, because we lost a home, and we lost jobs, and my family's been literally handicapped in all aspects of life. But this, what's seeing right now, it's terrible. What do you think? You understand money better than anybody else.
Look, I
those who want to make the money contact Steve. He knows how to make money.
I think humans are very resilient. Like, even to a stage where it's not always rational. A lot of like
I like it. It's not always rational.
I mean, I've been an advisor through GFC. I've seen COVID. I've seen now, and despite there's wars in Russia, there's wars in Palestine and all that as well, and then there's interest rates, and I think people will just become they're just resilient. They like to sort of focus on it. Whether that's sort of a healthy thing, I think you've got to learn from these types of things. But the interesting thing about money is I always have some questions before we sort of get into the money, and I talked about otherwise you're providing commoditized solution. I go, what is your purpose? What are you really trying to resolve? And there's like Maslow's theory, right? And the two biggest things of why people do stuff is because they want to be happy and they want to be connected with like-minded people. That is always the number two, the top two reasons why they're doing it. And I think that connection is the reasons why what makes people happy versus being unhappy is, the bottom layer is you've got to have food and water and those types of things. But what sort of probably maybe someone suicides or something, usually it's because they don't have many friends or they don't have a support network. That's usually the biggest reason. So I think that thing is a really important thing. And then, there's values and all that kind of stuff. But that's sort of what it all comes down to. I think, So ultimately, I think people are going to move through this. I hope they will learn from it. But on the same token, look at COVID. Everyone was like, okay, I liked the COVID experience despite everything because I could get more out of it. I could understand what's important. But as soon as the doors opened, everyone's there at the pubs. They're doing exactly the same thing.
Isn't this interesting? As you're spot on. I say like myself, I remember COVID come. First 3 months, I was watching my park. I was observing, going in the morning for a walk.
Yeah.
And thank God we live in New South Wales. Mm-hmm. Thank God we don't live in Victoria, because over there you couldn't even breathe. They will have the drone on your window and they will do the rubber bullets in you. But everybody was walking in the park, training, all this. I said, like, how is it even possible? Amazon doing delivery and everything else, if it's deadly. Anyway, but after 3 months, people just disappear from the park.
Yeah.
First 3 months, I have impression everybody's preparing for the Marathon Olympic Games, seriously. After that, every day, every afternoon and night particularly, I'll see the guy on a motorbike with a brown bag.
Yeah.
Bing bong! Like, my fucking neighborhood, man. I was like, what is that? And the Matteo says to me, it's Uber delivery. I said, what's Uber delivery? I didn't even know that exists, And I always think that people's going to come to some type of senses, that this is a good reset for everybody. But as you said, as soon as the door open, go back to try to get that normal type of life. But it's not a normal anymore. It's not a normal. I think we need to make ourselves more resilient and talking to people like yourself. So I appreciate your time today, Stephen. Really appreciate it because you find time. And so guys, I'm going to put in comment section below Steven Show details on LinkedIn. Contact him, how to make money. Maybe you want to buy him coffee, have a chat with him and, learn from each other. So Stephen, thank you for today.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.